Adrian was 18 months old when he was diagnosed with autism.
What would you say Adrian struggles with the most?
His language.
His language.
His language is just his downfall. It's if he had more language, then he could tell us what he wants.
Hey, Adrian. Maybe we can see some of Adrian's toys now. Hey, Adrian, show me your favorite toys. What
Show
Power
me.
Rangers?
Oh, here
Where's
it
his
is.
favorite ones? The ones he likes the most. And Cody will be back. He'll be playing with them soon. Oh, the green. There he is.
What about the pink? Where's the pink? You hear that humming?
Yeah, yeah.
And it can get loud. He can get real loud.
Also, when he struggles to try to communicate, which he's tried so hard, he said he also kind of bites his skin a little bit because he's so frustrated.
His lack of language keeps him from communicating to you what he wants, what he doesn't want. So if he can't tell you what he wants, then he bites himself. Adrian, show me your hand. Come here. See your hand.
Oh yeah, right there, right on his
Well,
wrist.
it's in two different places. One is right on his wrist, and the other one is higher up, around his knuckles.
Gotcha.
And so he'll get really, really upset. Not only will he get upset and he'll bite himself, but there's a chance that he's going to, if you don't catch right away what he wants, you have to have a really good intuition about Adrian and try to figure out what it is that's wrong with him. What does he want? If not, he will grab you by the neck and he will have you in a chokehold.
Wow.
And so then you're like this, and he's biting himself, but he has your neck, and he's biting himself, and he's going up and down and up and down, and you're just trying to get him off of you. But he's so strong that sometimes it takes Dad or Sasha to get him off of you. Adrian he's very smart in some ways, but in some ways he's not so smart. Like crossing the street, he has no sense of danger. He does not know what fire is. So we have to make sure that we watch him very closely. He has to be monitored by somebody at all times. Adrian, like Cody, has hypersensitive hearing. Even though he has less hearing on his right side, he has enough hearing for both ears on his left side. So even so, he has hypersensitive hearing. He can hear things that we can't hear, and then we have to put the headphones on during the day. He puts his headphones on. It's not going to be, the music is not going to be on. It's just going to be there to lessen the noise that he has coming in. His vision is very, very good. He can spot something. He can spot the smallest things like puzzle pieces, where they go.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you were also mentioning about Adrian's memory, that is also really good as well.
Yes, like if we go to some place that we haven't been in for 10 years, he can go to a store and he could show you where it's at from really, really far away, and you don't even remember it's there. So he's like, if we go to a baseball game, he knows exactly where he wants the ice cream from. He knows where the T-shirts are. You name it, that kid can find, he can just find it.
What kind of bullying have you experienced that Adrian's going through because of his condition?
A lot of the bullies are in the medical field. He's had some problems with the neurologist, trying to make him talk, trying to see if they can be the one to get him to talk. Like if we haven't tried all these years to get him to do that, they'll just get into his face. He doesn't like that. If you're going to have that kind of approach, I'll just start saying, well, we don't want to do it anymore. We had a speech therapist that tried to do the same thing, and he was just biting himself and biting himself. He didn't want to work with her. Yeah. And he almost bit her because she was just trying to grab his arm and just pull it. That is a form of bullying. You don't need to be doing that to him if he doesn't want to respond to you.
Exactly.
And, there have been a couple of kids at the Dayhab that have, tried to push themselves onto Adrian and try to tell him what to do. And no, we have really good support of the Dayhab. They know not to let them do that to Adrian, because Adrian will take you down. He
Yeah.
is that strong. So they're learning not to let anybody bother Adrian.
And what would you say was the worst kind of bullying you had to endure, or Adrian had to endure?
I would say was that neurologist
The
and the speech
neurologist.
therapist.
Yeah.
Seriously, they were really cruel to him. I mean,
Wow.
we also had a doctor that told us that he was never going to amount to anything. He was never going to do anything. So we might as well put him in a state home. He'll never,
Wow.
he'll never do anything just because he can't talk. He was 7 when they told us that. We had some teachers that did try to do the same thing.
He was
You
how old?
know,
He was 7 years
he
old.
was 7 when they told us that. And this
Wow.
was at a very reputable hospital. We went through, these diagnostic, tests, and that was the one thing they told us. No, he's not going to amount to anything. You're going to have to put him in a group home. And I was like, no, I don't think so. That's where we decided I will stay home. I will try to help him so that, we'll try to make him as normal as possible. So that's what's happened since
Awesome.
then.
Cody's type of autism that he has is Asperger's syndrome, which is a high functioning autism.
What would you say Cody struggles with the most with his condition?
One of the biggest things that he struggles with is social skills. That tends to be for Asperger's kids. That's number one thing that they suffer with is social skills. Some are moderate, some are severe, some are very mild. Cody's, I would probably range his in the moderate to severe range. So that's one of the main things that he struggles with. One of the things with Cody, with Asperger's, in some aspects they tend to seem very immature for their age. Cody is 21 years old, but he has the emotional and the characteristics of poor social skills. So not being able to make friends or be able to connect with people socially. And that he is in a range of a 10 to 12-year-old range. Although he's a highly intelligent, and anyone that talks to him, he's very intelligent and the things that he likes to do. However, if you try to carry on a social aspect of a relationship with him, that he has a severe deficit. He tends to say things that are kind of out there that someone wouldn't understand why he is saying something or how he is reacting to something. He tends to focus on himself and not necessarily what another person is saying. And sometimes when he says something to somebody else, it seems off the wall. It can sound rude. It can sound disrespectful. And he may come off really harsh or really rough when he talks. He has no filter. So that's the Asperger's.
So, Melissa, what was it like for Cody growing up?
Cody had a really difficult time growing up. He went through a lot of bullying in elementary school, and it got worse, progressively worse in middle school. He was attacked in 6th grade, had his head slammed into a urinal, and it injured him. I wound up suing the school for that because they didn't handle it very well. And his doctors had homebounded him, which meant that they had to send a teacher to my home every day to teach him. And it was like that for a year. The requirement of the judge for the school was for them to educate the teachers and principal that were involved with Cody on what his disabilities were, what Asperger's were. And he was sent back to school in 7th grade, part-time. And he was also, the judge had ordered for him to have an aide at the school. And for 7th and 8th grade in middle school, he had an aide, which helped him to his classes and during his classes, kind of to protect him from being bullied. When he got into high school, it seems that the bullying got a lot better. I think it's because the kids in high school actually matured quite a bit. He still continued to have his aide, and he went to school full time in high school. And he still continues to have some issues these days with bullying, and which is probably the hardest thing for him right now, is going through what he's going through right now with bullying.
What kind of bullying, Cody, have you experienced because of your condition?
Well, back in school when I first started, I had, because I think this was elementary or first grade, or it was first grade. My biggest problem was that they would, push me, step on me, kick my feet out from under me, and spit on me. They would push me off of the playground. Like, the playground was like 2 or 3 feet high. So, I have bruises and stuff. Middle school, I had certain interests that people, would pick on me for, and they would randomly do things. Like, one time they slammed my head into the urinal and broke the porcelain, and my ear swelled up, and it was swelled for like a week or two.
And let me ask you, Cody, you live in a small town. When you were growing up, did you know anyone else that had autism?
No, I didn't know anybody else that had autism. That's because, like you said, the town is so small. A lot of people, like, there's people that have disabilities. There's one person that had Down syndrome, or they just, there's just different types of disabilities. I think I was the only one there that had autism.
And how did that make you feel when you were growing up, realizing that you didn't see anyone else that was kind of like you?
I felt like an outcast. I felt like I was the only one that was being picked on.
Was that also a reason why they wouldn't let you take the bus? Tell that story, Cody.
The reason why they didn't let me take the bus was because they were afraid of what would happen to me. Because of what kind of people were on the bus, or... Yeah. So they would have picked on me, and they've even said that some of the bus drivers weren't capable of handling stuff like that. The first time I rode a bus was I actually rode the special ed bus, and that was actually the reason why they put me on the special ed bus, is because they were afraid of me being in with the normal crowd and what they could have done. So when I was on the special ed bus, I met a lot of people. There was this one person that I spent a lot of time with on the bus. She had it hard too. She was in a wheelchair. She was not mobile at all, and she looked up to me when I was on the bus and stuff. I didn't go to school with her, but I helped her. And
Gotcha.
but when I reached my first high school year, I was put on the normal bus. What they had to do is they had to put me in the front seat right behind the bus driver.
The kind of bullying that I experienced because of my condition would be the teasing and picking from the normal kids. I would have to say that I did try my best to ignore it, but it didn't stop. It got to me so much that it really hurt my feelings. The teasing and picking that was putting on me from the normal kids was making me to feel so low about myself.
Awesome.
Sad.
Well, besides my family, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up, and it took me a long time to make friends, and then to experience the bad life that I had to live in high school, convince teens that bullying is not the right way because it leads to all this heartache. Because teens nowadays are committing suicide because of bullying, and they don't have enough support from friends. They shouldn't be forgotten. Their lives matter.